Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing well. Welcome back to a new video. So this workout started out with some muscle snatches with some press behind the neck, and this was a workout not really directly inspired by Clarence Kennedy. Like if you watch any of his training, it's not directed by that, but by the program I bought from him. I used it to select these exercises for the day. Now the reason I'm not doing a series on me doing the whole program is that I probably won't do very much of it, but what's nice at different times, if you're kind of like in a rut where you just kind of want to do more volume like I wanted to do in this training, you just find a program and you just start like the first day. Most programs have like a really high volume day on the first one, or exercises that you haven't done in a while. I've done a lot of muscle snatches, but not a lot of presses behind the neck after the muscle snatch, so it certainly was a different movement. It wasn't really that difficult, but it was a nice one to be able to do, and it gave me a day off from doing snatch work. After doing these presses behind the back, which honestly were really easy until the very last set, then I started to strain a very slight amount, but it wasn't anything that was too bad. I then had some clean and jerks. You'll see, I think I had 5 sets here, so quite a bit of pressing work, which anytime there's lots of pressing, it's probably a good thing for me to be doing. What's nice is my shoulders feel really good, so I don't have any discomfort with them, and honestly my wrists feel pretty good too, which is kind of nice. So that's just a positive trend. That's why I've been doing some of the clean and jerks without wrist wraps on until it gets a little bit heavy. But this is what originally was supposed to be in the program, was a 1+4. I did a 4 jerks here, but with the other ones I just did 1+2s just because it's too hard to re-rack it that many times, and it's more of a exercise of re-racking than it is in jerking. So I wanted to focus more on the exercise and less on my ability to re-rack the weights. But we went from 60 to 90 here. My quad tendons actually felt really good on this day. I took some ibuprofen earlier in the day, and normally that's not something you want to depend on in order to be able to train, but I took it quite early in the day and it helped significantly. Like I took it in the morning and we were out training. I think this was like 6:30 at night, so it was a very large amount of time where most of the benefit of the immediacy of something like that was kind of nullified, or at least not in there. But what that showed me is that it is just a lot of inflammation in there. I'm not like injured, it's just mostly like that tendonitis feeling. So it's nothing that I'm majorly concerned about, but it's nice to know that if I'm training normally, it will be good. If I'm not doing like crazy heavy lifts every day, any of these clean jerks, I wasn't getting any discomfort from them. That was my biggest concern when I started to train today. I didn't have any discomfort there. My shoulders felt good, my quad tendons felt good, everything felt good physically. Just wasn't like super energized for this workout because I didn't take caffeine prior to it. I'm going to try a new thing as well where I still have caffeine in the morning via coffee, but I don't take caffeine before my trainings, and see if I'm able to not necessarily improve the quality of the sleep, but force myself to go to bed a bit earlier. Because one of my biggest issues with going to bed at the correct time to get enough sleep at night is that I usually feel the most alert and the most awake, and often kind of like the most ADD at like 10 o'clock at night. So I end up staying up past the time I do. Thankfully it's not to any sort of extreme length of time, like I'm not sleeping 3 hours a night or anything like that, but when you get 5.5 hours, 6 hours in a night, it's usually not very optimal to do. So I want to definitely push that number up. The app that I use does track how much I'm actually asleep, but I don't think that's generally accurate, because like last night I think I was in bed for more than 8 hours, but it said I slept like 7 or something. So I know the actual time that you're in bed is not the literal time that you are asleep, but it's usually not that different, and you can usually base on how good you feel when you wake up. And when I get that 8 hours or more than that, especially on the weekends when I don't have an alarm, then I usually feel pretty good. These were the squats I did after the clean and jerks. This was on the program, same with the clean and jerks. I just adjusted some of the weights a little bit from them and made them 1+2s like I mentioned. It was just 3 sets of 8 at 150, and I say just 150, but it definitely felt difficult, and I was certainly considering on the first set stopping at 5 and just doing sets of 5, and after the second set of 8 I considered stopping there and not doing the third set. But I was like, well, you know what, doing some reps in the squat are gonna be good for me because I haven't done straight sets in quite a while. Part of me actually wanted to bump up on the last set just to make myself work harder, but I figured I'd keep it at 150. I don't know, because like the block. I think it's a 15-week program, and there's 4 weeks of volume. I don't know if I'll actually go through the 4 weeks. I probably won't, but what will be nice is to have a couple sessions that are like this that are difficult, but they aren't maximal. It's like doing a set of 8 obviously is very difficult, but it isn't doing a 230 kilo squat, so it's just a different kind of stimulus, but it's something that I think will be good for me. And I actually felt really good on my legs to do, which is really surprising. I didn't have any discomfort. I got a bit of a low back pump, but I think that's just because of my butt wink a little bit there. I'm getting a little loose in the bottom, and that's something that's nice when you're doing reps. You can kind of just practice the movement more. I think that's one of the big reasons why that 232 squat last week went up, was from the previous days of doing those 220 squats, not from the fatigue from those that helped, but the practicing of grinding through those movements, because that's one of the hardest things to get good at on heavy squats, is the skill of doing a heavy squat. Anyone can learn to do a squat and can grind through weights that aren't that difficult, but when you get to those maximal weights that feel heavy when you unrack it, that feel heavy the whole time, and be able to push through it and to be confident through that middle position is something that is certainly an important skill to practice. This part wasn't on the program, but I wanted to do some snatch push press. I was thinking about doing more of them, but I was getting kind of tired at this point, so I just did a set of 5 here and called it a day. But got a good amount of volume in, and we'll be generally sticking to what is on that program, but I'll be making some adaptations, because I know at the very minimum it's a 5-day-a-week program. I obviously am going to train every day, so I'll be making some of my own workouts as well, so it won't be like its own series. It just forces me to have a little bit more variation and different ways in my programming. But that is it for today. A little bit of volume on a Saturday night, and yeah, I'll talk to you all in the next one, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace.